What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another motovlog video. Man, and the countdown has definitely begun. We're just getting closer and closer to fucking moving to Arizona. And I am just super stoked about it. Like right now, we have 5 weeks and 3 days left until we move to Arizona. Man, it just can't come any sooner. I've already got like so many ideas of like what I'm gonna do down there in Arizona. As far as like with my channel, I'm sure I've talked about this before, but obviously I'm gonna have a whole new area to explore, riding my bike. You know, so much new area just in general. You know, the town that I'm going to be living in for a little bit, I guess it just depends on, you know, if we actually get a house over there or whatever. Not like it really matters, but like I said, there's just all new territory that I get to explore. You know, and it being all like, you know, brand new to me, you know, I'm just going to be fucking riding around everywhere exploring. And even when I've looked up videos about, you know, the town that I'm going to, there's videos of the city down there, but there's no motovloggers down there at all. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna do some shooting videos, you know, with my guns, and I plan on buying some more. You know, hopefully when I get my shop in my garage, I'm definitely gonna be working on my carbon fiber stuff. I will be most likely probably starting off with doing carbon fiber stuff for my bike here, all these panels, and you know, once I get the hang of it, I probably will be selling them. I'm definitely going to be trying to selling them for like cheaper than what the competitors are selling them for. You know, it's just the business I want to start, and obviously, you know, be my own boss. And then of course, like if my whole YouTube channel gets going, then obviously that's extra income right there. So I have ideas of, you know, what I'm trying to do with the channel. I'm not sure if I'm gonna create like another channel for my whole shooting section, whatever. But we'll see when I get there. But obviously, for like if I start my business, the whole carbon fiber stuff, I probably will start another channel with that and just do strictly carbon fiber, and just show you the process of how me doing carbon fiber, and like how to like make stuff. I know there's already a whole bunch of videos on that stuff on YouTube as it is, but this is gonna be like, I want to make stuff that you can't find. Obviously my older car, my Cutlass, it is hard because it's not like a year one like fucking model where it's not like super desired. You know, like say like a '69 Camaro, or I mean the Yanko Camaro, or just, you know, like the SS Chevelle and all this stuff. All just the year ones, they're just the super popular ones. My car is not like that. And even the town, you know, the towns that I live in here, I've only seen like maybe 3 other fucking of the same cars, but just different colors. And so it's not very common out here. And even, you know, trying to go to the junkyard to find parts, that's almost nearly impossible. Like there's only been one time ever in my life since I've had that car that I've ever actually have found like a close to the same year car that I have. It was like just a year off, but ever since then, never once have I ever found another car like that in the fucking junkyard, which sucks. So for my car, you know, obviously it's a 76 Cutlass Supreme. There are specific parts on that car that I cannot find. Like for the longest time I could not find like the window felts, you know, for the inside and outside of the window. They help squeegee all the water off and just kind of help it keep it like waterproof from getting inside the door. I could not find those fucking window felts for the longest time, and then eventually they came online and they were available, but they were like wicked expensive. Just for little metal trim pieces with fucking felt on it, I think I paid like $300 just for like the set, like the outer ones and the inner ones, and I feel like that was just wicked expensive for what I'm actually getting. But you know, it's probably just because, you know, the car is not very common. But the cool thing too about older cars like that, especially, you know, like the GMs and all that, is that you can pretty much find, like, I can find parts for my car that are universal with, you know, other cars. Like, for example, I was having a hard time trying to find the inside door handle for my car because, like, nobody was fucking making them. And so then what I found out is that like around the same year, like El Camino, they had the same inside handle. So luckily I was able to go to a junkyard and find, you know, like an El Camino around the same year, and I was able to fucking bolt it right on, no problem. So that's like the kind of cool thing about older cars too. But when it comes to just like really, that's interesting. When it comes to really specific items, like for example, the on the inside of my car, like right behind the driver and passenger window, there's a little column right there, and on that column there is like an interior light. Instead of having it on the roof of the interior, it's on the side, right, like right in front of the quarter windows. And like there's a cover that goes over those lights, and those covers I can't find anywhere. So the one time that I actually found that one car in the junkyard, it actually had those covers that I was missing, and I got two of them. One was in good condition, and the other one was cracked. And so that's kind of an example of what I'm talking about. Like, I can't find certain parts for my car, so I want to make them. And so when I get my shop and all that, I'm definitely going to make, like, say, like those covers, for example, for my car. And if I can produce like multiples or whatever, I'll try to sell them for people who can't get them either. So there's just so much I want to do that I can't do without like a fucking garage, and that's what kind of sucks. So getting the garage is like one of my main priorities to help me not only grow my channel, but for me to start my business and have somewhere to work. You know, because if I fucking start getting really good at it, and I, you know, start getting orders from people online or whatever, you know, eventually if it gets big enough, I want to like move into an actual building and, you know, have it obviously be my business, and potentially like hire people. You know, I want to be my own boss. I'm trying to be like an entrepreneur. I'm really looking forward to going down there, you know, starting a new life, actually getting into a house. I just feel like there's so many more options down there than up here, you know, like they got if you're trying to start a business up here, the fucking economy or the market is just so saturated with everything. And if you have a good thriving business, people see that, they're gonna fucking copy you and get in the same thing, and then it's like the whole market is just saturated, and that you're gonna have a whole bunch of competition. But down there, you know, trying to find certain things and stuff, like the market is not all that saturated, and you can literally like start a business and not really have competition for anything, you know. And not to mention too, like the housing market down there is just getting better and better. Like when we first started looking up houses down there was not like a huge selection of houses, and I mean there was some amount, but as far as like for the specific houses that I'm like looking for, there wasn't a whole bunch of options that I liked. You know, that at least I guess you can say for the criteria that we're looking for. You know, we definitely want at least like a 3-bedroom house, definitely a 2-bathroom, you know, at least fucking 1,200 square foot at the bare minimum, and have like a fatty shop for me, or potentially adding on, or like, you know, like an RV sized garage on the very minimum, like a 1/4 acre, but I definitely want like upwards of like a 1/2 acre to an acre, or if I can find, you know, a house with more acres, even better, so that way we can expand and build. Because I would like to, you know, if we go that route, of getting a lot more property, I definitely want to build like an Airbnb on the property and have that pretty much pay our mortgage. Like, there's so many things in the works that, or have plans to do, and so hopefully us going to Arizona is going to have a better option, better chance for us to actually achieve those. You know, the girlfriend, she keeps talking about, you know, us when we go down there, that she's going to miss the state. She's going to miss all the green trees and, you know, just the state itself. And I'm just like, to myself, I'm like, you know, fuck that, I ain't gonna miss this place. This place sucks, you know, with how people here just suck, you know, and that it's just lately, over the past fucking 10 years, 20 years, it definitely has gotten a lot worse than it has when I first moved here. And it's not as good anymore. You know, you got all these big tech companies and all these people who are working there and moving here, so it's driving the housing market up, and there's more population coming in, and it's just more and more crowded. Traffic's getting worse. Taxes are fucking ridiculous. The fact that they like tax everything here. You got like also you got the alcohol tax, you got the sugar tax. You know, now we have this stupid tax that's like, it's coming out of our checks. That's like the long-term health care tax, or fuck whatever it is, where it's like they take, I think it's like 5% or some kind of percentage of your check and put it into a long-term care fucking thing. That way, you know, say for example you're in the hospital for a month and you obviously can't work, right? So it's like that money that they're taking out of your check and putting into this, like, say, side account, whatever, for you, your long-term health care, whatever. That way, that money that they're taking out of your check is going to pay for your expenses of being in the hospital for a month where you can't work. Which, in hindsight, that's not a bad idea, because obviously it's hard for people to save money, or they don't make enough money to save, or whatever. So I can see how that helps, but if people don't want to participate in that, they have no option to, it's mandatory. You can't like vote against it or anything. They do it anyways. And not to mention, like, the city that I was living in, they had like even car tabs for vehicles were just outrageously expensive. And especially compared to the city that my girlfriend lives in, it's a smaller town, and it was like a huge difference in price. Where, for example, say the tabs for my bike here, I paid, was like pretty much down there $170 just for tabs for my bike. Back then, when I was only driving around my older car, I remember when tabs were only $35. And that was back around, I think, say 2008, 9 maybe. $35 for my older car. And then it was like maybe a few years later, tabs went up to, I think it was like, it went from 35 up to like 75. And I was like, whoa, why is there like a $30 jump in fucking car tabs for my older car? And it was for them. That $30 was going towards, like, I think fucking like road repair or fucking whatever they want to say it was for. And then just like, I think it was like the last few years, it went from 35 to 75, then it went to $95. And I was like, Jesus, it's literally the same price as like my Subaru that I have, my 2005 Subaru. I'm paying $95 for my Subaru and my Cutlass. And I was like, how? Why? it was driving me nuts. And then even even the current year, my tabs for my Subaru went up another $25. So I would have been paying $125. And then of course it would have been the same for like my Cutlass, the same fucking price. And it's like, Jesus, they just keep adding more and more tax onto the tabs. And so if my car tabs went up to $125, I can only imagine, you know, my bike tabs would have gone up another $20, $25. So it definitely would have been around $200, I'm assuming, probably for the tabs on my bike, which is just ridiculous. And so when I moved into my girlfriend's house, and it being a smaller town, I literally, for my Subaru and my bike, I probably would have been paying at least $300 for both of them combined for tabs. My car would have been $125. My bike probably would have been around fucking $200 or whatever, or like $180, $190. So it would have been like $300 for both of them combined. But living in a smaller town, I literally paid half the price. And so tabs for my car was like $78, and then tabs for my bike was like maybe $10 more. So I literally paid like $140, just under $140 for both tabs. And I was like, this is fucking amazing. Better than paying $300 worth, and I was almost contemplating on waiting to fucking buy tabs with how expensive it was. And so even just going down to Arizona, I feel like tabs on there are going to be wicked cheap too. And they're just building so much. Like, I'm surprised they're actually building houses over here, because they're just building apartments everywhere. Oh, and there's gravel. Like, they're just building apartments everywhere. That way they get the most money out of that size lot of property. You know, because obviously they're not going to make a whole bunch of money with like one house on an acre when they can build 300 apartments on an acre and claim a lot more money.